Many top players are beginning to consider Johnny Cage the best character in Mortal Kombat 1. His offense is crazy good with lightning fast attacks, and he seems to be safe on everything, so low risk and a very high reward. But then on top of that, Johnny Cage has a bunch of gimmicks as well, like his hype meter abilities and his parry fatal blow that can become unblockable, and even just his normal parry is really strong. Many call it the Baraka Killer, and you'll see why in just a bit. But without any further ado, let's hop in training mode and see if Johnny Cage really is the best character in the game, especially when teamed up with Cyrax. First up, we have the attack strings, because Johnny Cage's specials are secondary. This character lives and dies by his strings. They give him plus frames, extend his combos, all that awesome stuff. First up, we have Knuckle under the buckle. So the third hit knocks the opponent away and is a mid. What's it like on block? It is -5, so completely safe, but get this, the first two hits are +3, which means you can force moves like this, right? Make them block this, go for this, or sneak a throw, all that stuff. As you're about to learn, Johnny Cage has a bunch of plus frames. Next up, we have Contracted Kick, a different ender that is +7 on block. That is crazy, but can I actually reach them? Yes, I can. So not only am I plus, but I can actually reach them with a really fast light attack. That's cool. I mean, not for the opponent, but cool for me. Oh god. This move, breaking backhand, then the full string under the table. So this first move alone, check it out, +3 on block. So you can do stuff like this, and the opponent's like never quite sure when to press a button. If they press too soon, they might get caught by the follow-ups and then launched for a full combo. Once again, Johnny Cage brings the plus frames. However, this string is a rare example of Johnny Cage being punishable. Look at that, -12. It ends in an overhead that launches the opponent for a full combo. So really good stuff, and it definitely makes sense for this move to be punishable on block. However, the thing is, Johnny Cage has a different ender that hits low, and I do believe it's completely safe on block. Yep, -4 and also a bunch of pushback. In a bad connection, this can definitely be a 50-50, or if your opponent just doesn't fight very many Johnny Cages, they're gonna have a tough time blocking the overhead and the low, which is definitely annoying, but at the very least, the low does not lead to a full combo, right? Next up, we have dunking on the haters and foot loosey-goosey. These two strings are very similar to these two strings. They are simpatico. They work in tandem with each other, because the first string ends in an overhead that launches the opponent for a full combo, and man, they go really high. However, unlike the previous string, the overhead's actually not punishable on block. Look at that, it's -6, which means if the opponent wants to punish this string, they have to actually interrupt the third hit or up block it, one of those two things, which would be a problem for Johnny Cage if he didn't have this string option, right? Different ender, and that low is much faster than the overhead, and then if you finish the string, it's safe on block at -6. So once again, Johnny Cage gets off scot-free with a pseudo 50-50. Next up, we have Gutbusters. This move has returned from Mortal Kombat 9, albeit much weaker. By default, it's a somewhat slow mid, but you can charge it and release, and look at that, the opponent is stunned for a full combo. However, thankfully, it's not unblockable like it was in Mortal Kombat 9, and also I don't think you can dash cancel out of it. Nope, you just have to commit to releasing it, and that's it. But I think it's safe on block, right? No matter like when you release it, it's probably still safe. Yeah, it's safe no matter what. In fact, it's plus if you charge it. So on the one hand, it's not unblockable, but at the same time, it can easily be exploited to get plus frames. So it's still a very good move and leads to combos on hit. Then we have Pow, which ends in an overhead. I don't think I ever used this string. Yeah, okay, it's a high attack and then an overhead follow-up. I've never used this string, but hey, the overhead is safe and the first hit is fast at 10 frames, and look at the range on this thing. Yeah, this string looks really good, and I bet in some situations it's great for ending long combos because you're over the opponent's body and you're really plus on hit. But then we have on the chin. This is Johnny Cage's go-to mid. It's 9 frames. That is extremely fast for a mid. And don't forget, Johnny Cage is +3 here, he's +3 here, which means you cannot challenge this knee after blocking any of those. You will get hit. And that's not good because the second hit is special cancelable, and in fact, the third hit is also special cancelable. So do not get hit by this knee. It's going to lead to a very damaging combo. And if all that wasn't crazy enough already, you guessed it, the final hit is safe on block. Despite being special cancelable and theoretically leading to a full combo, it's still very safe, even though it comes after this lightning fast mid. Johnny Cage is fast, he's plus, and a lot of what he does is safe on block. Need I say more about this character? Next up, we have style points. It's the same starter as before, but the follow-up is an overhead that crumples the opponent, and yes, you can get easy follow-ups afterwards. And you guessed it, this string is most likely safe on block. Yep, -6. Very low risk, very high reward. And now finally, last but not least, we have Cage NATO. Circle, circle. Okay, ends in a mid. I bet it's really plus on block or something like that. Yep, plus 15. Can I reach them with the forward 1? Yes, I can. Can I reach them with the knee though? Can the knee reach? Not quite. So you can't force the mid, but you can scare them into blocking this high attack afterwards. However, that being said, I would be very shocked if there's not a gap. Yeah, I can tell by Reptile's animation on block that there's definitely a gap before that second hit. But now it's time for an honorable mention, forward 4. Okay, an overhead that I think can even hop over some low attacks if timed correctly, but more importantly starts combos for free, right? Launches the opponent, you can easily follow up, and then for the cherry on top, you guessed it, it's safe on block at -5. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Oh, back 3. I forgot about back 3. This launches the opponent to extend combos, but is unsafe on block. Oh, and also Johnny Cage's sweep is a surprisingly good anti-air, which is bizarre, but you can like walk away from the opponent as they jump at you and then sweep them, which is crazy. Or catch him with back 3. That probably works too, honestly. Or hit him with this. That could also work. Okay, but it's time for the air strings. Back in the beta, nobody used these because you didn't need to, but now that his nut punch is 2 bars instead of 1, you kind of need to learn these strings. First up, we have air blood, which does decent damage, but be careful, if timed incorrectly, that last hit can miss, like completely. And then we have Star Wrecked, the final frontier. This is your more damaging air string. I didn't get the amplify. There we go, more damaging way to end your air combos. Okay, so in summary, Johnny Cage is lightning fast with a bunch of plus frames, and most of his mix-ups and strings overall are not punishable on block unless the opponent does an armored attack or a flawless block. Otherwise, outside of that, Johnny Cage is completely safe, lightning quick, and plus all the time. But you get the idea. Now it's time for these special moves. First up, we have a Ball Buster, a great way to end combos because it's lightning quick. And just like many of Johnny's special moves, you can cancel it with the left trigger and build a little bit of hype meter. It does not hit the opponent, but it can duck under a lot of high attacks, including most projectiles. But then finally, if you want to do the meter burn version, you have to have at least 2 bars, and that's because it actually holds the opponent in place to extend combos. However, Johnny Cage can't extend the combos himself. He needs a proper cameo character assist. And later on, we're going to talk about the hype meter, but for now, just know that his nut punch becomes crazy strong once you have full hype. Next up, we have Show Off, a very strong parry. It works on highs, mids, and I believe overheads as well. It simply won't parry jump-ins or low attacks. However, what makes this parry crazy strong is that Johnny Cage doesn't attack right after. Instead, he slips behind the opponent and you can do whatever you want to start combos. Or in other words, Johnny Cage can use this move to slip out of block strings or even special moves and then punish the opponent with a full combo from behind. And that's what makes him so scary, especially against characters like Baraka. Put simply, this parry is very dangerous, and the meter burn version starts up even quicker and can escape even more block strings and even more specials, including some specials that are meant to be safe or plus on block. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is why I believe that Johnny Cage is scarier than every other top 3 character, because you are never safe when pressuring this character. Next up, we have Throwing Shade, and fun fact, this move goes away if you choose to not wear sunglasses with Johnny Cage. Basically, Johnny Cage throws his sunglasses into the air. They hit mid, so the opponent can't duck or avoid them, and this can be done at the end of a combo, especially in the corner, and as the opponent's getting up, you can combine it with a fast mid or down 1 to break armor. And then the meter burn version does even more damage. I'm not sure why you would spend meter on this move, but you definitely can. And then, like most of Johnny's specials, you can cancel it with left trigger to build hype. I'm just gonna stop bringing that up because you get the idea. Most of his specials can be canceled to build hype, but they won't actually hit the opponent if you do that. Next, we have Rising Star, the move made much better after the beta because Nut Punch was nerfed. By default, this move does not seem like much, right? It just hits mid. It's pretty good on hit though. You can walk in and pressure the opponent, but that's about it, right? Wrong, because when combined with Cyrax, this thing gives you guaranteed block extension. Johnny has time to land and then do another string and more special moves. You get the idea. Just more guaranteed pressure and a lot of block damage. I'm gonna be honest with you all, I don't think the NetherRealm intended for this move to be so good at extending block pressure, but it simply is because it comes out so quickly and leaves pretty much no gap after any string. But then should you choose to spend a meter, you get follow-ups in the air because Johnny Cage recovers much quicker. And then we have Shadow Dash. The regular version is not too special, but the enhanced version has projectile immunity. That's right, Johnny Cage can just go right through projectiles if you have the bar available, which I personally do think is fair because in this game, Johnny Cage does not have fireballs. He can't throw projectiles like in pretty much every other Mortal Kombat game he's been in, so he needs a way to get around them, right? I think this is fair. However, where things get crazy is when Johnny Cage fills the hype meter, because then he gets to have the enhanced version for free. So now I just go through projectiles no matter what. And then on top of that, during hype, Johnny Cage can also cancel into this after other special moves like his ball buster, and that gives him a guaranteed follow-up without having to spend any meter. Or in other words, this move seems innocent on the surface, but it's way deadlier than it first appears. And look at this, you can actually extend it. I don't think I knew that. Oh, that's how people did too. I thought they were just canceling it into itself, but no, you hold left trigger and you get two. That's awesome. That's pretty much a full screen projectile invincible move. Next up, we have Shadow Kick, and check this out, 8 frames on startup. This means Johnny Cage can block things with tons of pushback and still punish the opponent. A lot of the time, nobody else in the game can do this, just Johnny Cage. And that's because, once again, it's 8 frames on startup, which is crazy fast. And don't forget that once hype is activated, he can cancel this into other special moves. So from mid-screen, that's 3 Shadow Kicks in a row, but then in the corner, that's a Shadow Kick into Ball Buster into guaranteed full combo extension. Yeah, this move is terrifying, and get this, the meter burn version has armor, so it's lightning quick, and it's also a get off me tool. Johnny Cage can use this to blow through fireballs and punish them on startup. It's crazy. Or in other words, not only is Johnny Cage crazy once he gets in, but also he has no trouble getting in. He has armor and he has a dash that's immune to projectiles. Alright, but finally we have hype. This is one of your fastest ways to build the hype bar, but the trade-off is its startup and recovery leaves Johnny vulnerable for a longer period of time. However, even so, let's be real, there's so many cameos in the game that keep him covered. In fact, in the beta, Kano's projectile would let you do 2 as long as the opponent was far away. And now finally, it's time to mention what happens when you activate the full hype meter. You enter what's called wowing out, some people call it star power or hype mode. There's so many names, I call it death. Because just read what this does for Johnny Cage, alright? Special moves can cancel into other special moves, cameo summons, or fatal blow up to 2 times in a row. Already that's crazy, but this next part might be crazier. Specials are always enhanced during wowing out. Or in other words, this dash is always immune to projectiles. This nut punch always has crazy long stun and restands the opponent. This shadow kick always has armor, and you get the idea. By default, without having to spend a meter, you get the metered version of attacks when in wowing out. But don't worry, things get even crazier. Don't forget, Johnny can cancel into cameo summons out of special moves now. That's a big deal because it guarantees Cyrax's net after a nut punch. Or in other words, Johnny Cage is the only character in the game who can casually combo into Cyrax's net, which is already scary because it means one more way to extend combos, but when combined with his fatal blow, it becomes downright savage, if not game breaking. And that's because Johnny Cage's fatal blow is very special. For starters, it's a parry. If you hold it down, you can increase the parry window timing. And keep in mind that this parry is not normal, alright? It works on jump-ins, it works on fatal blows, pretty much anything that hits Johnny Cage while your character is still close to him. And then, unlike MK9, which also had a parry, you can choose to just attack with this thing, so it can also end combos, which is great. That was not possible in MK9, where the fatal blow was also a parry. Alright, all of this is crazy enough already, but here's the straw that breaks the camel's back, alright? If you charge it long enough for Johnny Cage's belt to sparkle, you get an unblockable. Yeah, it just straight up becomes unblockable. And you might be thinking, well, that's okay because no one's gonna stand there the entire time and then get hit by it. Except you're forgetting about Cyrax's net. You can activate Fatal Blow and then wait for the opponent to get free, and that's guaranteed. What you just saw there is guaranteed. Or in other words, Johnny Cage can do a really long combo that does a ton of damage, then combo into Cyrax's net, and then guarantee the unblockable Fatal Blow after to add 35% to whatever combo he already hit you with. And in many cases, it's almost a touch of death combo, alright? We're talking like 80% damage at minimum, if not 90 and 95%. It can pretty much kill the opponent in one setup. So now's the part where I make this video interactive. Let me know your thoughts down below. Is Johnny Cage the best character in the game? After everything you've heard, do you think he's better than Baraka and Kenshi? And furthermore, do you think Johnny Cage should be nerfed? Maybe make him unsafe after more strings, take away some plus frames, or something of that nature? What would you do to make Johnny Cage more balanced if you think he should be nerfed? And I'm sure some of you don't want Johnny Cage nerfed. If that's the case, make your voices heard in the comments down below. And while you're down there, please leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It really does help my channel out a ton, and then finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.